Good. Welcome back to Rex Arthur TV, Rex Arthur Station, where we discuss LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ approach and an LGBTQ perspective, and and also a humanistic approach in the LGBTQ plus planet, which we live in, all of us. Each of us belongs to one letter in the sexual alphabet. And we are on Article 6. Yes, everybody does. Everybody belongs to one letter in the sexual alphabet. I repeat it and I'll always say it again. All of us belong to that spectrum of 10 letters. Everyone has a right to recognition. So we are on Article 6, the right to recognition as a person before the law. Everyone has a right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. The right to recognition as a person is enshrined in the UDHR. So you have a right to be recognized as a person. Yes, because this is very important. There is a temptation to make someone, you can recognize human beings as animals. So yes, that's what you need to understand. Okay, it's not that we are not animals. We are animals. But what I mean when I say animals, when you know slavery, the whole idea of slavery is that that person you are enslaving, you don't see him as a human being. Now, we are higher animals. We are not just animals. We are higher animals. And the higher animals are called humans. There was evolution that happened. But there is a there's a difference between higher animals and animals. An animal, sometimes we can jokingly refer to humans as animals, but we're just higher animals because we are higher animals. But we are not animals. Because an animal, the difference between an animal and a human, a difference between an animal and a higher animal, is that an animal does not have the cognition a human has and the perception a human has. So that's what you should understand. Now, why am I bringing slavery again, of which even this article is talking about slave trade, the African Charter? It's because the people who enslave others view the slaves as chattel, property, or as animals. Have you seen an animal? Do you know you can do anything to an animal? Do you know why this is not called the Universal Declaration of Animal Rights? It's because animals are not humans. But humans are higher animals. You see? Animals are not humans. But humans are animals with higher ability. Very high abilities, or very, very strong abilities. That's why we are animals with strong abilities, but animals are not humans. So because of that, the slave owners used to see some humans as animals, and they would mistreat them, kick them, and rape and all of these things, because they knew, this is I'm just playing with an animal. This is because remember, in agriculture, you used to plow an animal. You used to do plowing. When you do plowing, you enslave the cow under what is called a yoke. And even a yoke is a sign of slavery. It's a sign of bondage. So you yoke the animals together to tread on the field. Those are the old machines. They never had combined harvesters and all of these things. But they had a feeling, when they looked at the hoof of the cow, they said, this is a very good animal to step on my garden, and so I don't need to dig. So basically, people really wanted to run away from working, and they found a solution: cows. So the cattle was used to plow the field, and they used to yoke them. Why do you yoke them? You yoke a cattle so that it doesn't run away. So for animals, we are able to control them, and we are able to use them. In fact, right now, there's a new movement, the animal rights movement, that is coming up, and it may come and destroy the ancient farming technique of plowing using cattle. Yes, because people will say, or giving a donkey to carry burdens, you give the donkey goods, it carries for you. Yes, these animal rights persons, if they increase in power, they may even ban the use of donkeys to carry things. Now, what they need to understand is that for an animal, because it has low cognition, there are some animals you can use to do work, and that's what you do. But the problem of the plowing is that these slave owners now also made the slaves, they saw the slaves as cattle, and they saw them as plowing machines. So that's why they used to chain them, because they knew they would run away. Anyway, I mean, which human? And it was like da. I mean, do you know why you're chaining a human? It's because you know he doesn't want to do it. He knows it's not his choice. Have you noticed an employee, your employee, does not need a chain? Yes, doesn't need a chain, because he is working voluntarily. He wants to work for you. So why do you chain him? You only chain a worker who doesn't want to work for you, and that is slavery. And that's what used to happen. And that's why animals are chained. You find cows, I've told you, they give them a yoke, because a cattle wants to eat all the time. They just see grass, they eat the grass. They don't want to plow. Plowing is not what they were born to do. But because humans can control them, they come on the soil, and they are plowing, 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 and they are cutting, making the soil soft and soft and soft. So then they are put in a yoke so that they don't run away and think about food. So actually, that is animal slavery. And maybe the animal rights, I'm going to read about this later on. Maybe the animal rights experts are eyeing people who use cattle for plowing. But what I was just trying to bring is, I'm not focusing on the animals, because we're not on animal rights, we're on human rights. I'm just trying to show you why it's important to recognize a human as a person. It's because in the past, in slavery, they never recognized the slaves as humans. That's why they chained them. That's why they punished them. That's why they tortured them. That's why they even killed them. That's why they didn't even give them good working conditions. They didn't even pay them. Because, have you ever paid an animal for working in your farm? Did you pay the donkey? No, you didn't. So that's what happened in slavery. They didn't pay these humans because they said these are not humans. They are sub. You see, they mistreated them. And that was the saddest thing that happened in the history of humankind. But thankfully, the UDHR wants that to stop. Of course, the reality is, it is not that it has stopped, but it has reduced in happening. And again, disabled people have really explained this very clearly, because some people think disabled persons are not persons. And I can understand this, because a mad person is a disabled person. Is mentally disabled. And sometimes people like using mad people. Yes. To go. Sometimes you can even, I used to say, sometimes you can use them in war, because a mad person is very courageous, doesn't fear. And but the problem of that is that person, because he's mentally disabled, so you are not supposed to use him. without his consent. He's a person who cannot consent. That's a mad person. He has no ability of consenting. Therefore, any labor he will do is a form of slavery, because first of all, he's doing something which he doesn't want to do. He has lost the power of consent that is only found with sane people. That's why mad people are like children, in the sense that they can't consent. You cannot sign a contract with a mad person. If it's found out that a person is mad, that contract can be annulled. Yes, even marriage. It is very possible to annul a marriage if you find that the person you married was actually mentally unstable. And what I mean, totally mad. There are some mental disorders. You can live with somebody who has some mental disorders because they are still okay in certain parts of life. But madness is total mental disorder. Total. You are gone. And so in such a case, if you cannot solve that person's madness, you can divorce or separate from them. All right. So basically, we are all persons. So you should be recognized as a person wherever you are, and nobody should treat you like you are less a person. And that's the end of article. Is this article 6? Yes, of the UDHR. And it is the right to the recognition of persons before the law. So when you go to the law court, you go as a person. This is why slaves in America and the Americas and Caribbean could not sue the slave masters, because it was a catch-22 for the slave masters. They knew this. They made them not persons, so they can't even go and sue and say, this guy is mistreating me. I'm a human. I can do this, and I don't want to do it right now. He has not paid me. There was no slave trade union. You see, because they could not have workers' organization to go and complain that I'm being mistreated. And it's because they were not considered as persons in the law. That's why in America there was the argument that the Constitution was framed with the people, but it didn't consider slaves as people. At first, I used to think they should destroy the Constitution of America, but now I've changed my views. No, the black people are the people, and so now let them change. They are now part of the people. The black people of America became we the people during the emancipation. Yes, that is when they became we the people. So even though it started out with only white men calling themselves we the people, the beauty of the karma is the black people who are not considered people became the people in around 1865, when the emancipation from slavery happened, and they now became we the people. And that's why MLK fought the way he fought, because he knew that he is a person before the law. And segregation and all of these things, apartheid, is not allowed, because there is no one who is a sub-person. Everybody is a person. Even a mad person is called a mad person. You see, he's a person, meaning he's still, before the law, he is a person. As I said in the other video, when a mad person commits a crime, the law does something very beautiful. They say he's guilty or she's guilty, but insane. Yes. The guilt part is that this person actually committed the crime because he's a person. He has the ability to commit a crime. You know, animals don't go to court because they are not persons. So and that's what it means. So for the mad person, he can be guilty but insane. So what does that mean? That sentence means you may not even take him to prison, but you'll take him to a mental asylum. All right. Thank you for joining us for Article 6.